to Brother Ali Padron Paredes, Minister of Tourism of Venezuela. Ali? Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary General of ALBA-TCP, Mr. Foreign Minister, my brother, Minister of Culture of Venezuela, Comrade Ernesto Villegas. I was talking to the Foreign Minister that a few weeks ago we had a meeting in the Ministry of Tourism with the Secretary General of ALBA-TCP. And among the things that we discussed, we talked about the importance that within the meetings of ALBA-TCP, we had to include the Minister of Tourism and Culture, not only because they are an expression of one idea, but because we understand that in many countries, Minister and Culture, the Tourism and Culture is only one ministry. But we have understood that despite being two ministries, it's only one meeting here. So today, in the Ministry of Tourism, we received some Turkish journalists, experts in making videos and documentaries, and they are in Venezuela. They will be here for several days, and I told them that for me it was important the cultural expression in that meeting, as we have been doing it in this meeting. Tourism and culture, it's only one area, and we have worked in that area with Ernesto Villegas, and I know it is like that in the Caribbean. I would also like to highlight tourism in the world has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. So the last data we have from the Tourism World Organization of Tourism said that it's been a drop of 54% of the tourism sector. In several countries, that number can reach 90%. In the Caribbean, it has been, all those countries have been really affected. The economic relation of those countries have been affected. Tourism experimented in all these countries drops of 80%. In Venezuela, the pandemic has affected the touristic sector. We had a drop in 2020, even more than that one of the world. But we've had since October, after we opened tourism and other 53 economic sectors, following the method 7+7, so we've been recovering little by little, and we've seen that tourism, and always following the security protocols and the health protocols, and following the restrictions imposed through the several decrees of the health ministry, we have advanced in the midst of this big challenge, which is the pandemic, and in the midst of another big challenge for Venezuela, which are the economic sanctions, the financial persecution, the blockade. We've had for 2021 a slight recovery, but a recovery that has allowed us to advance and to see how with optimism the future of Venezuela and the touristical sector. Natural parks like the Canaima Natural Park, the Rocker Archipelago Natural Park, that you presided, and the entire northern central line, the Falcon state, the Anzoátegui state. So in these weeks of flexibilization, a slight recovery and a coordinated recovery, always following the guidelines that it is necessary to follow the protocols to strengthen the reactivation in the short term. I want to highlight that Venezuela supports what Nicaragua has stated in the meeting of Minister of Tourism that took place in the Dominican Republic, in which they made a call to harmonize the health protocols and the interconnectivity that you were talking about as tools to reactivate the sector. So it is important for us to reach an agreement to harmonize the protocols. Each of us within our sovereignty space, we have made different norms and protocols to face the pandemic, but it is important for us to reach an agreement to harmonize all these protocols and to work with the interconnectivity. So we're talking about that here. So we were working for two ministers, Marieli Contreras and Delcy Rodriguez, to what it was the first meetings. So we have 7 weekly flights to Turkey. That's a big possibility through ALBA-TCP to increase interconnectivity, which is so necessary between the 9 countries of ALBA-TCP for us to advance and facing all the big challenges we have as a multilateral organization. Venezuela also agrees the ideas of a new focus to the multi-destiny offers. So it is not sufficient only to offer our Caribbean destinies as our only space. And in the Caribbean, we can also offer not only our beaches, only places in the planet like the Canaima National Park, our rainforests, and these to be an element of the multi-style of our region. And for our diversity, these are 2 elements that we consider should be treated as only one for all, and all for one. Also, Venezuela has had different experiences. The case of Iran, Russia, of Turkey, that evidence the need to advance in this sense, in the multi-destiny, that tourists, once in Venezuela, could visit spaces of our Caribbean. Other countries of the alliance, like it is the case of Nicaragua, Bolivia, and other nations, to work with these touristic markets and the emerging markets. We also support the requirements and the health protocols to create more trust in the tourists. So this element today, it is essential. So tourists, they see where they are given best answers to fight coronavirus, and Venezuela is a spearhead. So we see the numbers of our neighboring countries in comparison to Venezuela, and thanks to the decision of President Nicolás Maduro in March 2020, now we can show numbers which can be envied by developed countries. So this is our experience, and this is how we have managed this pandemic. And this gives us this chance to give within our alliance the best way of coordination to reactivate the sector. So we should advance to build a 2-year plan. So it is important, the plans for the joint work, and for us to follow a guideline, Mr. Secretary General, ministers. So it is very important to give new opportunities to form or to our societies to advance. In the case of Venezuela, from an oil economy to a touristical economy, we have to form our sectors. We have to teach the people to work in that sector, to give better attention to the tourists. And this is the strategic line of the formation. The sector, our country also, and I want to highlight this, has proposed, I was telling this to Mr. Secretary General, to adopt a mechanism of touristic cooperation for the first time in the alliance. So there is a proposal now that was presented in the Ministry of Tourism for all of us to agree to find a cooperation mechanism regarding tourism, and for all of us to sign this to advance in a safe way. So it is an element, and we hope all the countries to have it in their hands and that we can discuss this program and that we can sign for the International Day of Tourism, September 27, that we can sign it. And of course we invite the Foreign Ministry. So all the steps given by the Ministry of Tourism are accompanied by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I have the idea that a teamwork is what will give us, will make a better future for us. So to finish, Venezuela, we have the presidency of the directive table of sustainable tourism. So we were working with Raúl Icausi in Margarita. We had a meeting there for the period 2021-2022, and we proposed several things there, and we will work for that. And also we were supported by the Foreign Ministry, and we will carry out the next meeting in Venezuela, and our country put at your disposal to jointly work in the different fronts of our region to achieve the necessary consensus to make reality our goals in the midst of the big challenges of the pandemic, and in the case of Venezuela and the case of Cuba, Nicaragua. So facing the economic blockade, sanctions and unilateral coercive measures. Thank you very much for allowing us to express our ideas from the Foreign Ministry in Venezuela, and to me, I am proud of being in this meeting. So thank you very much, and we will continue working. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ministry, for your words and for highlighting the topics of interconnectivity and multi-destiny will make public your proposal for the tourism sector.